Hi guys, it's just an update for second week of February, or going into the second week. First thing is my work contract finished yesterday, which was a bit of a downer because let's be honest, if you can earn over £1,000 a week sat at home, who wouldn't? Um, so that's sort of finished, but they're looking at other work for me, and we'll wait and see on that one because if it does develop, it'd be nice to actually continue working remotely. I've had another contract come in today for Stoke, Stoke-on-Trent, which is for a 6 week period. So I might hop back to the UK for 6 weeks because, well, it's paying. Let's just say I should bank 6 grand. Should be banking a grand a week, which in real money is, if we were living here in Spain, I only actually need £14,000 a year, literally. With the income that I earned last year and still got in the bank, we've got enough money till next year. If we top that up with another 6 weeks, obviously, some 6 weeks money gives us some money to play with. Because the thing with this surveying stuff is it's not difficult to pick up work. The hard bit is being able to stay in Spain full time, which is why I'm looking at different things. I'm looking at alternatives. Been talking to Chris, Mark, and Brian today about the English teaching, because Chris has been doing it for nearly, well, over 15 years uh, in the US. Mark's been doing it for several years in Asia, and Brian's here in Spain. He lives in La Mata. He's looking at it as a business enterprise here as well. So everybody's on the same page and looking at it in different ways slightly. So we're sort of working on that at the minute because we're sort of thinking, well, if we're going to go for it, go for it. Um, and right now, I'm going to take a week because I've got some stuff I need to do with the embassy. So I'm taking a week off work to try and work out where we need to be heading with this stuff, because I know we can ultimately develop a long-term business with this. And I like having multiple people involved because how many English teachers are out there? It's ridiculous. So having a pot of people that have different skills, different locations, different nationalities, it can be very useful. For example, Chris is American, and sometimes people in Singapore, Hong Kong, or whatever, they want American English, not British English. So that work can be fed to Chris in the same way we're looking at developing the training courses, and then students buy the training courses, etc., etc. There's a lot of crossover between different people, and on the back of that, we'll develop a much bigger business enterprise once we get the footings down, once we get the foundation and the base. You start going, well, that's working, that's not, and start building it up from there. So I'm seriously looking at that at the minute because I know we can make enough money, even if I was just stuck here teaching English, to live in Spain indefinitely. But obviously, as soon as April's residency and stuff comes through, April can also teach English. Um, but it would be nice because we have all the money coming in. I want to stress that because there's a lot of, oh, man, it's broke, man, it's broke. Um, let's put it this way: you don't move your family halfway across the world if financially you're struggling. It wouldn't make any sense, and it wouldn't make any sense to move somewhere like Spain, which can potentially be expensive. Like I said, I mean, it costs us probably about £14,000 a year, which isn't a lot of money, but that is one of the reasons I can bank more money. Because I was talking to somebody recently about this, about putting money away on an annual basis, because obviously I'm rolling money in investments as well, because I'm not touching that money for the next decade. That's the reality. I was talking to Dave in Australia, because that money is going to be my second pension fund. Because my first pension fund is obviously what I paid to the state in the UK, and I've got some of these frozen accounts as well. But this one will be actually paying out more than I'll be getting from the UK government. So every year that's rolling. Because long term, I want to move away from being in a full-time role. Because it's like last week when I got offered a job in Canary Wharf, the problem I have is they want me in London 2 days a week, and I'm like, do you need me in London? Do you really need me in London? Because if it's just to show my face, then it's just an expense that I really don't want to be paying. Because it doesn't matter if I come from my parents' place in Worcester, for 2 days a week, and then, going on the train or the train, bus, or whatever, um, and then Birmingham, or if I'm in London and fly in and fly back, because obviously it's only an 8-hour day, whatever way you look at it. So I would say stuff, I don't want to be here for 2 days. How about I fly in, I'll do 16 hours, then I'll go home. If you need me in the office, just get it all over and done with. But for some reason they seem to want you in the office. But that is a bit of an old mentality in the UK, and you do come across it quite a lot. But at the same time, you get other companies downsizing, getting rid of their buildings with the administration and office staff because it costs a fortune. And like this, it's Canary Wharf, so it's not easily accessible in the sense that if I drive in, I've got to pay for all-day parking, congestion charge, blah blah blah. If I get the train in from Worcester, it costs between 80 and 100, maximum £145 a day for the train. If I fly in from here, it'll cost me probably about 40 quid, and then whatever the train is, the office, then just renting a hotel for the evening. But the whole point is, whatever way you look at it, it's coming out of my pocket. So we'll wait and see, because if they come back and they say, yeah, okay, we'll just work from home, that'll be fantastic, because that's a ongoing permanent role which I can do from home. If you've looked at my LinkedIn, you may have noticed I actually turned around and basically left it open, an open door there for people to come up with ideas work-wise. Because what I'm trying to do is try and get people to bring forward work I wouldn't normally get, in the sense that I come from facilities management, I come from asset surveying, but I do a lot of stuff with spreadsheets, I do a lot of stuff with managing people, I can do it remotely, whatever. And I know some companies have specific things that they want somebody to sort out. So just trying to prize that work out of people, making them know I'm available. Because sometimes it's seen as a negative thing, almost like, oh, you must be desperate to be doing it. It's not that. Because the thing is, I need to be pushing the fact that I'm interested. I'm interested. If you got something, let me have a look at it. We'll see if it's viable or not. Because at the end of the day, I'm trying to stay in Spain. It's not that I'm desperate financially. I would say it's more my center of life and responsibilities is to be with my family in Spain. So that's what is most important right now. Finances, not really fussed on the finance. That's why I'm saying if I get some of this work from the contractors finished a couple of days a week, financially that's enough. It really is. That's enough for that. For long term, that's enough for us to be in Spain full time. And then doing some YouTube spin-offs as a nest egg fund, because the YouTube income pays all the stuff in the Philippines. It's not a big pot. It's not a big pot of gold. What it does do, though, it pays the electric bill, the water bill, a few other bits, and then it leaves some pesos behind for, like we're doing now. I think we bought a new electric meter for the apartments because we're separating the electric meters on the apartments at the minute. He bought a new bed. It buys in stages, basically, because the whole point is it's a fund that develops the stuff in the Philippines. But what I want to do is actually keep that one going and look at developing several other ones, not related to the Philippines, not related to stuff that we've covered already. It'll be something completely different. But at the same time, this stuff will still continue. The Spanish stuff I'm going to spend a bit more time on as well. because I need to get Andreas more involved. I know he's a very busy guy, but at the same time, I think we can make a lot more money, business-wise, here in Spain, if we expanded the network. And we're not talking about financially making money off the YouTube. The fact is, we've got access to a lot of businesses here, and that's the important bit. The other bit is the accountancy issues I've been having, because originally I used these guys to help us with the residency, and all they've done is cost me a lot of money. They're whinging that I cancelled a invoice, but basically I got rid of them last year, and they were still trying to get paid into February. And I said, look, you've already had money for over a year and a half. I got with you guys November, December. I went in, seen the guy in December on my own. I then went in January to apply for it all by myself without any of your assistance, and I got through no problems. But when we went in with them in November, one of the things they did say is they wanted this translation of work contracts, my working contracts with the UK. Now, it's about 20 euros a page. Now, when I went in, wasn't an issue, which, not saying somebody's lying to me or whatever, but I do question why it wasn't asked for when I went myself. I'll just leave it at that. But I will say I've wasted a lot of money with these guys. Am I annoyed? I would say it's why expatservices.es is developing, because these people offer these services but often don't know the rules, don't know the regulations, aren't really that fussed as long as they get money, in my opinion. I think it's more important that people take responsibility for things. What I mean is, for example, if you start helping me with my residency and all this, and this we're arguing on the phone, and I said, well, you've had all this money, blah, blah, blah. And the response was, well, it's not my fault. They changed things halfway through. Right. I'll give you a real world example that will cover this. If I went to the garage and says, can I have 4 new tyres? And they go, it's £100. When I come back in an hour, because we already agreed this, and you go, it's £150, I called them up and they've just put the price up. Would that be acceptable? Well, the answer is no, because they should have confirmed the price before I left and come back. You should have agreed that. You don't sit and change the tyres, then go, well, we can't do it. We want more money. We want one. And that's the problem here. There's too many people that go, well, it's not my fault. It is your fault. You're in that business. You're supposed to know. You're supposed to find out. You're supposed to be on the ball with this. That's how you make a living. And this is where I think our service is, well, I know our service is going to be a lot better. Way more better. Because we take a responsibility in this stuff. It's not a case of you just giving us money and, well, it's not our problem. It is our problem. Our problem is to make things easier for people. If we can't make them easier for people, then it's a major problem. Because at the end of the day, we want people coming to Spain. We want people living in La Mata. We want people asking for our service, knowing that they can trust us to do it. They're going to get the service they're paying for. But on top of that, they know if they've got a problem, they can come back to us and we will fix it. It's like now I can sell car insurance, by the way. If you want Spanish car insurance, I can do that, and it'll be a good price. The company I'm working with offer a very good rate. They also offer medical insurance, house insurance, mobile home insurance, pretty much anything on the insurance products. The reason I'm working with them, and as I stress to them, is because I know their reputation is already very, very good. For a lot of Brits is the fact that they speak English. Now, I know some people, well, you're in another country, but a lot of the people coming here are 60 plus, and they don't really need to speak Spanish. They should learn Spanish, but they don't need to speak it. So often don't. So when they have a flood, a robbery, a car breaks down, whatever it is, they need somebody to help them, not sit there and go, well, you should speak Spanish then. We want to be the person you can call up. It doesn't matter if it's English, Belgian, French, German, whatever. We want to try and make life easier for everybody. And that's something we're working on at the minute. But anyway, I'm going to cut this off because I've talked too much again. But thanks for watching.